action.
It's pretty epic and massive, even more than his other movies, I think.
He's the master of imagination and ingenuity. From Independence Day to 10,000 BC, he can go on and on.
So let's do the close-up.
He's a visionary, he's a storyteller, and he likes to do it in a grandiose way.
And then here, we like to do the same thing.
He certainly is a master of suspense and crazy action sequences.
I think Roland's incredible in this genre and has made so many films that are kind of so arresting and engaging.
Let's do it again.
There's something about the way Roland puts a film together, you just go with it. And there's some outrageous stuff that happens, but you go with it. He's a master craftsman that way.
But he has the problem, the Tenzin is like really seriously injured, so he wants to have him come help him.
I can't understand how he sleeps at night. You know, I mean, I don't know what it would be like to be in charge of something this huge.
A normal director, you'd look at the scope of this and you'd see somebody pulling their hair out and having a nervous breakdown trying to manage all this.
Cut!
It's like a Wizard of Oz concept, you know, you think it's gonna be this kind of guy who's just extremely tough and brutal.
Extremes in every respect. Hundreds of people, gallons of water, fire, everything. And Roland is the most relaxed, well-adjusted, nice, easygoing dude. It is truly remarkable.
The music starts. Any minute now, the fireworks gonna start.
He's like a kid on set, you know? He just loves this kind of stuff. He loves telling these stories, and you can just kind of see the joy and excitement every day at work with him. It really doesn't get old. I keep waiting for him to get tired, but he's sort of more exuberant each day. There's very few people that have an eye like him to sort of put these stories in this grand scale together bit by bit by bit.
When we see the shelves nicely shaking, there can already stuff falling, we start saying action and action, it pulls.
It seems so effortless for him, whether it's the top of Yosemite or LA City Street with buildings falling, and it just all seems like he's got it all in his head.
What makes it so wonderful is just the way he pays attention to details. Every single thing is that I've noticed on the set is specific. There's no generalities around it. The emotional danger that each of the characters go through, as well as the physical dangers that they are challenged by, are very important for him.
Roland's got it going on. He knows every nuance, every little moment he wants to see happen.
Nothing can happen because we only go a little bit. Yeah. And you will hold on to this. And then we harness you to this whole thing. So nothing can happen. Cool.
I don't even know what a damn gimbal is. You feel me? She said, you're gonna get the gimbal, and okay, cool, let's do it. You know, but I understand what he wants to see happen in terms of the action and the story.
I think he really offers a lot of room for the creativity of the actors and just for the other people who are part of the production, which I think everyone appreciates. I do.
Some of the great yogis in history have said that breathing in is birth and breathing out is death. Right now, we're gonna have the whole universal exhale.
For movies like this, you want to work with directors who can paint with the big brush and the small brush at the same time. I knew that Roland could definitely paint with the big brush, but I've been much more impressed with his ability to kind of zero in on the details. For him, it's not just about, blowing things up at all. He's very interested in the people and understands that it's the relationships that ultimately make these movies.
Independence Day, that was the first time I did big destruction, and we used actually the form of a disaster movie, to kind of tell an alien invasion. And since then, I realized that in the disaster movie format, you have two things. You have very big images, you have very small, intimate stories. That's a great combination, and I'm just fascinated by that. And in this case, I had this idea to do a modern retelling of Noah's Ark. At that time, it was not really fully a disaster movie, but then we discovered there's one theory in the 50s, Earth crust displacement, which leads to a global flood, and that came with a lot of disaster scenarios, and through that it kind of became a disaster.
Tell me where to kneel, Roland. This side?
Here.
Here?
No, where you are.
Where I am.
You want me to kneel here? So Lily comes between you guys.
Okay. Action!
I was not sure if I should do another disaster movie, but the more I talked about it, the more I realized this is too good an idea that I have to do this. And then I also said to myself, you know, you have so much experience in this, and I knew that like kind of now everything can be done in CG, and I wanted to be just the one who does it.
It's just so visual. He just has the whole movie in his head, every frame, which is quite mind-boggling for me sometimes. To talk to somebody who at all time knows what the next cut, the next frame, the next word is.
Roland is constantly excited by the physical challenges of being able to take what's on the page and put it on the screen. And I think he's done so remarkably well.
Even go one step back, because then I can remove you. Or like this.
That's good.
Yeah, that's good.
He's certainly done a couple of pictures about a lot of things falling apart. And I think it's interesting that he's really created a certain genre, you know, out of a genre that was pretty prevalent, I think, for a while, and then not so much. And I think he's really kind of brought it back over the last sort of 10 years or so, and really pushed everything.
This is his canvas. This is what he does best. I mean, I think better than anybody since, you know, Irwin Allen and Poseidon Adventure, Towering Inferno. I mean, Roland makes these movies.
The one thing that Roland does differently than other filmmakers is that whatever he does always has a different angle to it and has a bigger scale than anywhere else that you've seen before. Independence Day. There have been similar things like that before, like the television series V, for instance, where also big spaceships were hovering. But you've never seen anything in that scale, that enormity, and that, you know, so breathtaking as the stuff that, you know, was done in Independence Day.
I think that when the big wave hit New York in The Day After Tomorrow, when the water came down Fifth Avenue, that was something that people had never seen before, and I think that's what's so spectacular about Roland is his imagination allows him to go to places which in some ways you would say, well, that could never happen, and maybe it could and maybe it couldn't. It doesn't matter. People want to be entertained. People want to be sort of blown out of their seats, and I think that nobody does that better than Roland.
The energy that he has making his movies, and especially his disaster movies, stems from a passion for this since he's been a child and since he's picked up a Super 8 camera. There's a passion about that he had when he was, you know, 16, 17. And still to this day, I know it, I sit next to him when he's in his director's chair. You can see the sparkle in his eyes going like, I can't believe they let me do this.
You feel dizzy, disoriented. Dizzy, disoriented. You know, I'm the first audience member, and when it doesn't work for me on the day, you know, I'm like kind of trying so long until I like it. I'll always have like some sort of an inner image, and you have to find it, and that makes it interesting and fresh. And disaster movies I like so much because it's about characters, normal, regular people like you and me, who have to face life and death situations, and because of that, we evaluate their life. This genre is a lot of the weaving storylines, which then all at the end come together.
He's interested in making movies that have some moral tale to them. And I think that's what makes his movies successful. It's certainly what makes him engaged and interested in the movies that he makes. It's not just the challenge of how am I going to mount this, and certainly that's fun. It's fun to figure out how you're going to bring what's on the page to the screen. But I think for Roland, one of the things, if not the most important thing, is to say, why is this story worth being told? And what he's able to do is tell stories that are meaningful to him within the backdrop of this giant canvas.
It's a little bit naturally when you were successful with something, you know, you like kind of keep doing it because first of all, you like it. You know, and Hitchcock was the thriller guy, and Woody Allen is the walking through Manhattan with funny lines guy. It's just these things, they stick. But I did also The Patriot, and I have a lot of other movie ideas. Not one of my other projects right now is a disaster movie, because this will be it, trust me. And cut.